This week, the federal court in Australia has been hearing the Giggle v Tickle appeal, a landmark case with major implications for sex-based rights in Australia. Sall Grover, as those that have been regular to the show and been following Sall, the founder of the woman-only app Giggle for Girls, is appealing a decision that found she discriminated against trans Roxanne Tickle by removing him from the app. Last year's ruling by Justice Bromwich not only awarded Tickle damages, but also stated that sex is not confined to being a biological concept and can be changed. Sall argues the app is a legally protected female-only space under the Sex Discrimination Act, aimed at providing a safe environment for discussions around women's health, trauma and safety. The appeal has drawn submissions from groups like Equality Australia and the Sex Discrimination Commissioner, who support broad protections for gender identity. On the other side, the Lesbian Action Group is backing Sall's calling for legal recognition that woman means adult human female. And Sall Grover joins me now. How lovely to talk to you, Sall.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've had a big week, and I know you're relaxing, and I appreciate you still making time to talk to me, my love. How are you feeling after this latest round in court? And tell us what's at the heart of your appeal.
So basically, I'll start with the heart of the appeal is two things. One, it's whether the law allows for women to have women-only spaces. And the other part is about what a woman is and what sex is, and then from there it goes into sexual orientation as well. So this week was very much about us arguing for reality and explaining that the construction of the law actually works as it is right now, that they never actually even took anything away from us, but it's the Sex Discrimination Commission that has been interpreting the law incorrectly, and we could prove it. So I'm feeling great. I'm actually feeling the best that I've ever felt. I had an absolutely wonderful legal team who have worked tirelessly to basically crack all of the codes and discover the absolute nonsense that's been going on, which is really that, the executive branch of, which is the Sex Discrimination Commission, has gone completely rogue, and then the legislators are doing absolutely nothing about it, and so it's been left to the judiciary. But you can also make an argument that that's sometimes how it is the system is supposed to work. So in one sense, you can say the system's working as it should, and in another sense, you can say this is, how did we even get here? We should never have even been here in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm feeling very optimistic. I'm feeling the most optimistic I have felt in 3.5 years, because this nightmare process has been going for 3.5 years.
Oh my gosh. Tickle's side, I just wanted to touch on this. Tickle's side wanted compensation, supposedly from misgendering him over 50 times in media interviews. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, that's one of their arguments. Basically, when they were making the arguments for damages, it was two things: that I call him a him, which he is, and he can call himself whatever he wants. Don't get me wrong. In a free society, he can call himself whatever he wants. But in a free society, so can I. Yes. So they were angry that I'd called him they said 50 interviews. I'd say it could be more. But and that I had, during cross-examination, they had presented me with a piece of evidence that was political satire. It was a candle that somebody had made. I had nothing to do with it. And I laughed at it. In the situation that it was in, it was. I mean, you're in federal court. It's so stressful. It's so high stakes. And I was met with this. And so basically, our response to that was, it's very normal in the process of court hearings that barristers do have to show evidence that could be classed as offensive or crude, but in seeking justice, they have to be able to freely show their evidence, and you cannot punish a witness for how they respond to that evidence. And if you do, well, how are you ever going to get a witness ever again? How are you ever going to get somebody to do media to talk about an issue ever again if you can punish us for it? So that's another part of the case that is a really, really big deal and quite chilling of what they are trying to do. But the Sex Discrimination Commission and gender ideologues in general are quite chilling. We know, if anyone who's been involved in this or had to deal with it, we know that their goal is to force everybody to believe it. But as I said, in a free society, that's not possible. They're not allowed to. They can believe it. Everyone else doesn't have to believe it.
Exactly. Submissions came from all sides, Sal. As you know, the Lesbian Action Group is backing your case. How significant is their support to you?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, they were sort of the missing piece of the puzzle. And because you've got to remember that when gender ideology is attacking the reality of sex, it's lesbians who are getting attacked twice, once as women and once as lesbians. They're being told that they have to accept heterosexual men as lesbian women, as homosexual women. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. And they were just absolutely brilliant. They were brilliant in the room yesterday. Their submissions were brilliant. When we got their submission, I wanted to cry. It was just so beautiful. It was just truth and reality and common sense. And then you had places like the Sex Discrimination Commission, but also Equality Australia, which is one of the biggest LGBTQI, etc. plus organizations. Yes. And they actually applied. They turned up. They applied to intervene and they got accepted. They applied to intervene not actually against me, but against the lesbians. So the L in their own acronym. They did not want lesbian, female homosexualdy established and accepted in law. And so, in that sense, I'm actually very grateful that they turned up and that they revealed to everybody exactly what they have been doing. There's no denying it anymore. Yeah. LGBTQI organizations are against the L and the G because they are also against the G as well as the L. And so they are fighting. And Equality Australia was established to get same-sex marriage across the line, and obviously they won that. And now they have changed their entire structure to actually trying to get sex removed from legislation. That's how corrupted it has become. But it's exposed now, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So anybody who says that, that we're being hysterical or that we're exaggerating, nope, it is all on evidence now. We are 100% right in what we are saying. These people are trying to erase sex from law. And the monster's coming from inside the house.
Wow. I saw a tweet actually on Excel about the Equality Australia group or whatever they're calling themselves. It said they turned up just with vibes, metaphors, and arguments that would not survive a Year 9 debating final.
It's 100% true. I mean, they turned up yesterday and said that sex is a spectrum. And it's just like with gender ideology, they just make these statements based on no evidence, and you just have to believe it. And you're like, and then also that sex is not binary. And you're like, okay, what's the third sex? What's the fourth sex? What's the fifth?
Yeah.
You're going to have to explain this if you want anyone to take you seriously. But of course, they can't explain it. No. And we all know that a lot of organizations have been corrupted by gender ideology because there is a lot of money in it. So in that sense, I understand why it's happened. But they have a difficult position to defend. Like I've been saying to people for a while now, as hard as this has been for me, I'm at least going in there and just defending the truth. That's a pretty easy thing to do at the end of the day. Yeah. The Sex Discrimination Commission and Equality Australia are going into court to defend that men who claim to be women need pregnancy protections. That's quite a difficult position to defend. And yes. Not surprisingly, they weren't that great at it.
That's what this guy, I read it and I thought I'm going to have to tell you that out of all of, you get a lot that's put up there, but I just thought that was hilarious. Yeah, they brought their vibes, metaphors and arguments that would not survive a Year 9 debating final. Look, we have spoken about this, Sal, obviously quite a few times, but at stake isn't just, one app's membership criteria, is it? This appeal is asking whether it is lawful in Australia to create a space for women based on biological sex.
Exactly. And on top of that, an argument that they were really trying to push was that you should know if somebody has a gender identity. So their argument was that because Tickle had what they would describe as a female haircut and was wearing a low-cut top in a photo, low-cut V-neck top in a photo, that was enough for me to know that a male person had a gender identity of woman. And you start to go, well, at what length does the hair go from a male haircut to a female haircut?
And what about the five o'clock shadow? What was,
ignore the Adam's apple. Just focus on the female haircut on the man. But it's like, but at what point, like a Bon Jovi in the 80s, did he have female hair? Was he a woman?
To be fair, all those 80s rock bands, they actually were prettier than women. So I mean,
this is the thing. We've a lot of us have lived through the era of glam rock, where it was platform shoes, men were wearing lipstick and eyeliner.
Yep,
they looked great. They looked great.
Awesome.
It was fun. No one had a massive problem with it. And if we were in a zeitgeist at the moment that was about men being able to have, for lack of a better word, a feminine self-expression, I'd be all for that. I'd be on their side going, yes, of course, anyone should be able to express themselves how they want, wear what you want, have fun. We all have one life to live. But that's not the zeitgeist we're in. We're in this authoritarian nightmare where they're saying that basically the clothes have the legal protections of sex, but bodies do not. So female clothes are protected, and the moment a man puts on those female clothes, he becomes female. Now, that is possibly the most insane thing I've ever heard. It's more insane than anything that that Big Brother was trying to get people to believe in 1984. Because even in that book, they knew that denying the reality of biological sex was going one step too far. Wow. But I'm optimistic. I think that we know from how it's playing out around the world, both in the US and the UK, that gender ideology is falling. Some great things have been happening in New Zealand as well. New Zealand's in a significantly better position than Australia is right now. Australia has just generally been sort of just holding on to the ship while Titanic sinks and thinking that it won't. And it has. The train's left the station. Gender ideology is crumbling. And I think that's one of the most concerning things, is that places like the SDC are desperately trying to essentially get a fad enshrined in legislation, because we all know that this will end. We all know that this fad, this horrible nightmare, will be over eventually, and we're going to need to have laws that reflect reality, not social contagions.
Absolutely. And you do believe that. See, I think that too when I look at the UK and what happened when Trump was back and got back in power. And so I think the ship is turning, that gender ideology, as you've said, is crumbling. You feel that too, where you see it.